And the guy who was running the course looked at me and he knew that I'd had him over. He knew it. And the disdain that he had for me as he looked at me.
What's the 20 pence piece story?
Okay. Right. I'm at the peak of my powers as an undercover cop, and other forces around the country are setting up their own undercover units, mirroring what we at Scotland Yard had done. And one of those forces who were real visionaries was Greater Manchester Police. So I get invited up because they're running their first training course. So I get invited up as an observer to watch their course to see if there's anything I can contribute to it, if there's anything we can take from their training and bring back to down to ours in the Met. Anyway, one night, the guy running the course says, "Okay, everybody, it's been a really tough week and a half so far. To reward you all, we're going out for a few drinks and a curry tonight." Whee! I'm right up for that. But I didn't say anything because I smelt a very large rat. We go out. We have the curry, right? It's all lovely and it's jolly. And then we're having a couple of beers afterwards. And all of a sudden, this kind of extremely professional and somewhat conservative, with a small c, senior boss who's in charge of their unit is encouraging everybody to drink like the apocalypse is going to arrive tomorrow. Right? And he's buying another round. And he's buying another round. And it's gone midnight. And I'm going, I know what's going on here. I know exactly what's going on here. So I got myself a pint of water on the QT, of course, because I was still part of the crowd. Hey, jolly, 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 jolly. I'm not going to say anything to the students because that's unfair. We fell into our beds about 1:30, and most of them were absolutely bollocksed, right? And had a good night. 3:30. Everybody up! Everybody up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Right? Doors coming off their hinges, right? Here we go, right? So everybody's had 2, maybe 3 hours sleep, top whack, right? Well, you got 20 minutes. This was not The Apprentice, by the way. It wasn't Alan Sugar didn't pick up the phone, right? Okay. You got 20 minutes. Get ready. Downstairs. Boom. So we get downstairs. We are all stripped, searched, right? And everything is taken off us. Everything. We have nothing apart from the clothes that we're standing up in, right? We are then blindfolded and put in the back of a van, right? And off we go. We've got absolutely nothing on us apart from the clothes we're wearing. Blindfolded, off in a van, right? It's about 4 o'clock, 4:30 in the morning. People are dropped off. The van stops. So-and-so out the van. So-and-so out the van. Dropping people off at stages. At one point, I could hear an airport. I went, that's an airport. Because you're trying to figure out where you're going. You know, you're trying to work out, am I on a motorway? What direction are we going? All that kind of stuff. Your brain's constantly thinking because we've no idea what's going to happen to us. No idea whatsoever. So eventually, I'm last out, right? Stop the van, come out. I'm given a little strip of paper like that with a 20 pence piece sellotaped to it, right? And a set of instructions, right? You cannot contact anybody you know, you know, and if you do, you'll be booted off the course and your undercover career will be over. You are not allowed to steal. You can beg. Beg? Fucking beg. I'm one of Scotland Yard's primo frigging undercover cops who's normally sashaying around in Porsches with 100 grand in the boot, and you're telling me I can frigging beg for me dinner? Right? I'm not happy. Right? I'm genuinely not happy. So anyway, and there I am, right? In the middle of nowhere. Burley under Wharfdale, it was called, where they dropped me off. Right? I've never been back there since, right? Can't break the law. Bollocks. It's 5 o'clock in the morning, right? And I'm gagging for a drink. Yeah. I'm sorry to the firm of solicitors whose pint of milk I stole from their front step, right? Because I did. I had a look. I wasn't going to steal a pint of milk from one of the houses, right? Because people have got to have their cup of tea. But it's a firm of solicitors and I'm a cop. So I didn't really hold solicitors in very high regard, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm having their pint of milk,
Yeah.
right? So I go, nick the pint of milk, find a churchyard, sit in there, drink that. Felt a lot better. You know, that's breakfast for me. I was sorted. I felt right as rain. Can't break the law, can't contact anybody you know. Right. I'm on a Manchester course. So if I get kicked off a Manchester course for breaking the rules, I figured out that's not going to impact upon my career as an undercover cop for the Met Police.
Yeah.
Right. The Met are going to have a bit of a laugh and a joke about it if I get kicked off the course. Right. Anyway, we were told that we would be being kept under surveillance. Right. Well, I'd figured out they can't keep us under surveillance, all of us, all the time, right? They simply didn't have the resources. Anyway, I then go and do a bit of anti-surveillance, right? I know how to conduct anti-surveillance to make sure that I'm not being followed, right? And I was not being followed, right? A mate of mine, great mate of mine, I know has got a girlfriend that lives in Lancashire, right? He met her on holiday. He's a Londoner, but she's from Lancashire. They were having a bit of an on-off sort of thing, blah, 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 blah. I'd met her when she come down to London, got on famously with her. She had a real sense of humour, blah, blah, blah. So I ring my mate with the 20p, right? Okay. So I ring him and I said, look, are you still in touch with her? Blah, 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 blah. He said, oh, yeah. So, right, this is where I am, right? Ring her. This is the telephone number of the phone box. Get her to ring me now, please, right? I was very fortunate. She was at home. She picked up the phone. She rang me at the phone box. I said, please come and get me, right? Okay. And she did, right? And she bought me a few quid, right? And she took me for lunch, right? Okay, right? Meanwhile, all these other poor buggers that have been dropped off and are on this course and their undercover careers depend upon it are eating food out of bins, right? Are begging. They are walking like mile upon mile upon mile. They're getting blisters.
Hungover as well.
Draggled. They are in a complete 2 and 8. They really are. Right. There was a rendezvous point. We were given a rendezvous point and time. So anyway, she drops me off in Manchester. She drops me off early, way before the meeting time. So I am now right as rain. I've had a lovely lunch. I've spent lovely time with my mate's girlfriend who spoilt me. I've got cash in my pocket. You know, not a huge amount, but a few quid. And I've got a couple of hours to kill. Well, back in the day, I used to like to bet on the horses or the dogs, right?
Yeah.
Don't do it, kids. It's a waste of money. You never see a skint bookie. Trust me, right? Yeah. So I go into the bookmakers, right? And there's some dog racing going on in the afternoon. I thought, I fancy that dog. Check the form, this, that, and the other. But fortune favours the brave. Had a couple of quid on that, 7-2. Bang! I've won another 7 quid, right? Happy days, right? Well, seeing as I'm here, now I'm still way ahead of the meet time. Let's have another look at that dog. Quite fancy that 4-to-1 chance. Yeah, I think I have 3 or 4 quid on that. Boom! In comes the fucking...
Best day of your life.
Dog, right? I'm having an absolute time of my life. I really am, right? So, killed the time. Cash. I am utterly made up. And we go to the rendezvous point with these poor bastards, right? Okay. They were absolutely out on their asses, these people, right? They'd had the most torrid, horrible time, quite literally eating out of bins, some of them, right? So I've gone, because I'm holding, aren't I? I'm all wedged up. So I've gone, 3 quid for you, 3 quid for you, 3 quid for you, 3 quid for you. And they're all looking at me like I'm the Messiah. right. Off you go and get a bit of grub, get a drink, go and sort yourself out, go on, we've got 10 minutes before they're here. This, that and the other. They frigging adored me. Of course, it wasn't over. It's an undercover call, so you know there's going to be another kind of, you know, slippery trick being played on us. And they turn up because, you know, and everybody, they're all thinking that it's over, and I knew it wouldn't be. And we then had about another frigging 6 miles to march and all that stuff.
Fucking hell.
Get back. And they were just trying to break people.
Yeah.
Absolutely break people.
Yeah.
Of course, I'd had so much dough that I had a packet of 20 cigarettes. So anybody wanted a fag, you have a fag. They've had cash. They've eaten as a result of that. They've had fags.
Time of your life.
The lot. And we wander back to the headquarters at the end of the operation. By now, it's very late at night. These youngsters are completely done in. And I'm fresh as a daisy. Right? I've had a lovely day. And the guy who was running the course looked at me and he knew that I'd had him over. He knew it. Right? He absolutely knew it. And the disdain that he had for me as he looked at me, right, you know, was just clear for everyone to see. But you can't prove it, pal. You know I have just taken the piss out of you and your course, but you can't prove it. Right?
And then he found the betting slip, and then he knew.
Well, I think he read my autobiography a few years later, in which that story features. And the feedback was he wasn't overly impressed, but he had begrudging respect for me. But that night, he knew I'd taken the mickey, and fair play. There was no point in him confronting me because I was never going to confess. He got a crate of beers out for everybody, and he nicknamed me the Great Provider.
That's amazing.
And
that's amazing.
And that was it. So,
brilliant story. What
best
is
day I've ever had on 20p.